Last week, I flew along the Gulf of Mexico and landed at Brownsville, Texas, the southernmost and most distant point of my trip, completing Phase 1. In this video, I set out on Phase 2 of the trip, beginning a flight along the entire U.S. Mexico border.
Brownsville Tower information, Foxtrot, time 1253 Zulu, wind 330 at 6, visibility 10, sky clear, temperature 19, 2.18, altimeter 29er 5. Or nav GPS, runway 31 approach in use, advise on initial contact, you have Foxtrot.
Okay, so I'm probably going to taxi straight out there, and that'll put me, I think that'll put me right, yep, that'll put me right there. So he'll probably tell me to cross 36 and then turn right on whatever that is. So I'm going to pull up the scratch pad in Garmin Pilot. So then I'll need ground. And ground is 121.9. Although it's probably the same guy as tower. 121.9, then tower is 118.9. Oh, tower's 118.9. Ground is 121. That's what I want. Alrighty. I think we're ready to go. Oil pressure's good, oil temp's gonna be coming up. Fuel is on the left tank, and that one's full. I'm gonna start the stopwatch before I take off. Then after I take off, I'm gonna need to open the flight plan or activate the flight plan. And then the only thing I need to, well, then I'll contact tower again, then I'll contact McAllen Tower later on. Alright, here goes nothing. And we're trimmed. Brownsville ground, Luscombe 1813 kilo at Southmost Aviation, ready for taxi.
Luscombe 1813 kilo, Brownsville ground, good morning, runway 36, taxi via Bravo.
Runway 36, taxi via Bravo, Luscombe 1813 kilo. So I should just be able to hang a right here. So I guess I don't need to write any of that down. Brownsville Tower, Luscombe 1813 kilo, holding short at 36, ready for departure.
Luscombe 1813 kilo, Brownsville Tower, runway 36, clear for takeoff, on course heading approved.
I'd like to turn right out to the northeast.
Luscombe 1813 kilo, roger, right turn out's approved.
Luscombe 1813 kilo, clear for takeoff, 36, right turn out approved. All right.
Today's flight is super exciting as I'll be starting a new phase of the trip, flying the entire U.S. Mexico border all the way from the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific Ocean. This episode's flight will go from Brownsville, Texas to Rio Grande City. I'll start by flying out over the Gulf since I want to start right at the mouth of the Rio Grande.
Well, pressure's good, oil temperature's good. This tank's on, that one's off. That one's full, that one's full. Throttle back, everything sounds good, everything's smooth. Man, avoiding TFRs would be such a pain in the neck without GPS and the software that shows you exactly where you are and where they are. Pain in the neck.
Go 13 kilo, maintain VFR, frequency change approved, go flight.
Let's go 13 kilo, frequency change approved. And as a heads up, in maybe 20 minutes or so, 20 to 30, I'm going to be flying back to the west, right along the border at low altitude, maybe 500 AGL.
1813 kilo, thanks for the heads up, we'll look out for you.
All right, good, I'm glad I stayed with him. San Angelo radio, Luscombe 1813 kilo on 122.3.
Luscombe 1813 kilo, San Angelo radio, go ahead.
Luscombe 1813 kilo, I'd like to activate my flight plan.
Alright, Luscombe 13 kilo, your flight plan has been activated out of Brownsville going to Laredo. I don't see any advisories currently for that routing. I do have a couple of TFRs for the area. It looks like they're going to be over towards the Brownsville area and one over Caruso Springs. And it's 6929 on the Caruso Springs one, and the Brownsville 8321. So if you need the details on any of that, let me know. Otherwise, let's get you, I guess Tower should have given the altimeter. If not, let me know, get you another one. Anything else we can do for you?
Not at this time, thank you very much.
All right, and November 13 kilo, roger that. Do you guys have any sky conditions or any haze on the climb out?
The skies are pretty hazy as far as I'm concerned. I'm not from the area, but kind of feels like it did yesterday between San Marcos and Thomas, T69. So pretty hazy to me.
All right, November 13 kilo, no problems there. What's your current altitude, and what do you think visibility restriction is on the haze?
You know, so I'm at 1,000. I guess I imagine it might even be 10 miles, but like I said, maybe the haze is normal for down here. I don't think there's really a limit on any big concerns as far as visibility distances.
Hey, number 13 kilo, yeah, the haze is normally not a factor down there. It's, I think it's still from that smoke we had from the fires to the west, but either way, I'll show that then, and I appreciate that. If you need anything else, again, just give us a call, and any report. You guys have a great day.
Number 13 kilo, thank you very much. All right, sweet. So that was the flight service guys. The one I talked to this morning was really nice. This guy was really nice. I'm going to fly around this TFR, and then I'm going to squeak in right there. Yeah, got a left crosswind here, which kind of knew I would. Let's definitely adjust for that so we get around the corner of this TFR.
TFR stands for Temporary Flight Restriction and is an area where the FAA restricts pilots from flying for a limited time. Out west during the summer months, there are TFRs where firefighting is happening, as you want to give firefighting aircraft plenty of room to do their thing.
And I'll end up going, maybe 2 miles off the coast?
There are also TFRs wherever the president is, and over sports stadiums during games. This particular TFR is because Elon Musk's SpaceX South Texas launch site is located out in the middle of it. Space vehicles are manufactured, launched, and tracked from this location.
We'll start to turn a little bit here, and we're speeding up because we got a wind coming from the north here, from the counterclockwise rotation of the storm system out there. It's that's interesting. It's a cardioid-shaped glide ring. That's something. Anyway, counterclockwise rotating rings of the tropical storm. Let me turn left just a hair here. I don't want to snip the edge of that airspace. There, I'm around it. Now we're gonna haul south.
I'd actually had some trouble sleeping the other night as I was stressed out about Tropical Storm Beta. It didn't end up being an issue, but I was still pushed around a bit by its winds.
Alright, now the only thing I'm worried at all about today is just the first tiny little bit there, just sneaking through. There we're going 123 miles an hour, down to 700. That's got to be the outlet right there.
What I'm referring to is the mouth of the Rio Grande. That's the official start of my trip along the entire U.S Mexico border. It'll end when I fly out over the Pacific Ocean in San Diego.
So I'm south of the, I'm guessing that's the Rio Grande right off to my left there. And I'm south of that TFR. So that's probably the Rio Grande right off my left wingtip there. Yeah, there it is. It's a little more distinct there. That is the Rio Grande. All right, now I threaded that needle. I stayed south of their airspace. Now I just gotta, if I stay close to the Rio Grande, I will be guaranteed to stay out of their airspace. There it is. That is the Rio Grande right there. That is it. Some guy's got a little shack there. So this is the meandering Rio Grande. A little bit like the where the Mississippi Delta, where it's almost perfectly flat, so there's water really spread out all over. Ooh, that's an even better shot. That's the launch facilities of, I don't know what it is. Alrighty, I threaded the needle. Yeah, now this is why they say the border is almost 2,000 miles long. If you ignore every teeny tiny little bend, for example, straight ahead here, there's all those bends. If I were just to straighten it out and fly straight, it'd be closer to about 1,600, less than, well under 2,000, or the 1,900, whichever the number is.
The Rio Grande is a meandering river in which the water erodes the sediments of the outer concave bank and deposits the sediments on the inner convex bank. Eventually, the erosion can cut completely through and leave an oxbow lake.
So 10 miles, that's the 10-mile ring. Okay, so I'm going to call him in a second here. Brownsville Tower, Luscombe 1813 kilo, 10 miles to the east, right along the border at about 400 AGL.
Luscombe 1813 kilo, Brownsville Tower, roger.
And just to be clear, I'm just wanting to transit the area here along the border.
Luscombe 1813 kilo, roger, transition class Delta is approved to be following the river, sir?
Yes, sir.
Roger, thanks.
This is what I've been planning for more than a year, since before I bought my airplane. And I gotta say, this is cool. So look how much this thing bends. I'm not gonna do this the whole way because I'd run out of gas, because it would lengthen my day's trip by so much.
The zone within which a meandering river's channel shifts is called its meander belt and is typically between 15 and 18 times the river's width. The degree of meandering of the channel of a river, stream, or other watercourse is measured by its sinuosity. The sinuosity of a watercourse is the ratio of the length of the channel to the straight line down valley distance. Streams or rivers with a single channel in sinuosities of 1.5 or more are defined as meandering streams or rivers, and that's the difference I'm referring to here, a difference which could dramatically affect the length of my flight along the Texas-Mexico border.
Now that bend would be too tight for me to make. I couldn't follow that one and come back. So, right there. So I gotta be careful. Like right there. Well, if I went all the way to that tip, I don't think I could have made that turn. Yeah, now see, this one goes over there a little bit. That was just forest. I'll straighten this one out a little bit. See, look at that. I got to be careful here, so I don't just follow the river blindly. I could have made that, but look at this one right here. If I flew in there, it kind of opens up. I might be able to fly in and then make that turn and come back. But being it's downwind, or there's a wind coming from the right here, I don't think I want to try that. I might end up in Mexico and then get in trouble. So the truth is, I might end up getting fuel at that airport. Oh, look at this. Look at this. We have the wall. This is the first bit of the wall. And the river's over there off the left wing. Right there in someone's backyard. It looks like a border patrol wall on the south side of the wall. But American farmland off to the left here.
When I say wall, I'm really just referring to the physical structure separating the United States and Mexico. In some places, it is in fact a wall, but in many places, it's more of a fence, vertical steel slats that allow U.S. Border Patrol agents to look through to the other side as a security feature. These slatted sections and the sections with actual walls are meant to keep people from crossing. Other places have shorter barriers which are meant to keep vehicles from crossing. In yet other places, there is a mere barbed wire fence or even nothing at all, and in those areas, the remoteness and ruggedness are meant to keep folks from making a trip between countries.
So yeah, here's the wall, pretty straight, and you've got the river meandering over there. Got a little, looks like a cell tower there. And there's the river right there. So it's all over the place. So at the moment I'm just following the wall. So there's a whole bunch of land off my left wingtip there, in between this wall and Mexico. And all this right in front of me here is south of the border wall, but north of the Rio Grande.
In many places, the border fence doesn't run right along the border. It actually cuts through people's private property. That has not only caused some irritation among residents, but has ruined some businesses, such as a golf course that has been cut off from the rest of mainland United States. Building the fence right along the border, in the case of Texas, the Rio Grande River, would be more complex and much longer, increasing its cost, not to mention the fact that the location of the river changes over time. How do you protect the residents of Texas from the genuinely nasty effects of transnational criminal organizations, while at the same time not cutting people's land in half, hurting businesses and trade, and causing potentially significant inconveniences to many people? This isn't a simple problem to solve.
And we're doing a major crab here. Whole bunch of Border Patrol vehicles there. Now we are south of the U.S. border wall here in Brownsville, but we're over American farmland, all the way out there, maybe a mile. So let's go ahead, and the river is right up ahead here. It comes, yeah, it's all over the place. It comes way back north here. I don't want to cut over there. More Border Patrol. More Border Patrol there.
The fences and Border Patrol agents are focused around populated areas, as that's where the majority of people try to sneak across, and the area around Matamoros and Brownsville, Texas is a good example.
There's just an opening in the wall right there. So I'm going to climb up to 1,000 because, well, maybe I don't need to, because there's the, yeah, I guess I can stay south of the populated area. That's Matamoros, I guess, over there. Right over there. And let's see. Yeah, let's just make sure we don't cross the river. This is like a, I think just a, not part of the Rio Grande River, but, oh, there's the border crossing right there.
Matamoros is a city in Mexico just across the border from Brownsville of just shy of 500,000 people. Together, they form the fourth largest metropolitan area along the U.S. Mexico border. The main industry in Matamoros is auto manufacturing and hosts assembly and accessories plants for GM, Ford, Chrysler, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz, among others. It also, however, continues in its agricultural heritage. The city's title of undefeated, loyal, and heroic is due to its involvement in several battles and events, including the Mexican War of Independence, the Mexican Revolution, the Texas Revolution, the Mexican-American War, the American Civil War, and the French Intervention.
So there's a river down below, and I should be able to just follow it here. I'll make a left.
This little lake is called Fort Brown Resaca, and the remains of the Fort Brown earthworks is just off to the left. It was a fort built for the U.S. Mexican War. The interesting building ahead and just to the right of the road, West University Boulevard, is the Performing Arts Center of Texas Southmost College.
That's Matamoros out in front of me there. And there's several border crossings.
Brownsville, Texas, with a population of under 200,000, is quite a lot smaller than Matamoros. It was named after Major Jacob Brown, who was in the U.S. Army and died during the Mexican-American War. The aforementioned Fort Brown is also named after him. City and county governments are some of the main employers, along with service, trade, manufacturing, and, increasingly, aerospace and space transportation.
Okay, so the fence ends right there. There's no fence here. Oh, there's a golf course and Border Patrol next to the golf course. Yeah, so we're northeast.
Echo 1813 Kilo, Brownsville Tower. No traffic observed in your vicinity. Maintain VFR. Frequency change approved. Go flight.
Thanks a lot, Brownsville. See you later. All right, so maybe we'll go to 122.9 or something. Yeah, we got more wall now. So yeah, we got the fence here, and then a big farm, big field to the left there, and the fence ends here. So, at the very least, I guess it would force people coming across to cross in specific areas, maybe funnel them into spots where the Border Patrol is able to concentrate their efforts. You know, it'd be nice if it wasn't just such a big deal and I could just kind of fly along the river and not worry about which side I was on. And there's Border Patrol again, and the wall starts again. Yep, so again, here's the wall, and we got probably a mile of farmland here, probably hundreds of acres of farmland south of the wall. Looks like a nice little neighborhood. More Border Patrol right there. And again, there's another gate for people to go through to, I don't know, tend to their farmland, I guess. We got a tower here, which is just a water tower on the VFR there, on the VFR chart. And here's the end of the wall. And there's more Border Patrol parked right there. And there's more Border Patrol. And the wall starts up again. But the river's way over there. And it looks like a little pond here. So, actually, 118.5 is McAllen Tower. So I'll give them a heads up when I'm 10 miles out. Yeah, the Class Charlie. Who is that? Valley International? Harlingen? I don't know, some Class Charlie there. Off to the right, and I'm nowhere near them, not even their outer shelf. Yeah, we got a canal there coming off of the Rio Grande. And there's the end of the wall for the moment. Oh, we got tons of towers out here, holy cow. Including a super duper tall one that looks like it's, yeah, it's over 1,000. Yeah, we got a big old, I don't know, wetlands or a swamp over there. An open gate in the fence. Border Patrol down there. And this is kind of a fun complex. Here off to the right, I'm gonna buzz around it here. This is sort of interesting. It's just a... Looks like maybe a man-made canal. Just for people to have their own waterfront property, I guess. This guy's personal little windmill is zipping along. Okay, there was no fence there, but there is fence here. Actually, this looks like brand new fence. Look at this. Brand new fence with concrete. Interesting. Except no one's working. Oh, is it a Sunday? That's a Sunday. Okay. We'll let them off the hook. And there's more of it up here.
McAllen Tower, good morning, Killer X-Ray Charlie Uniform Alpha Tango with you on Visual Ferry runway 32.
3 Charlie Uniform Alpha Tango, McAllen Tower, runway 32 for the line.
Clear to land runway 32, Uniform Alpha Tango.
There's Border Patrol parked right there. We got a little gizmo here. That might be some Border Patrol electronics. And I think I see the end of the fence up there. Oh, we got a bunch of people in a field down here. I wonder what they're doing. Oh, maybe looks like they're walking along the furrows. For some reason. I don't know why. All right, we're getting close to the point where I want to call McAllen Tower. So here's the end of the fence, and here's a border crossing. Another one. Yeah, the VFR charts don't show these. Looks like a good lineup of cars coming over into the U.S. A few trickling over to Mexico. Oh, more.
Hey, Uniform Alpha Tango, turn right Alpha 3, taxi to Customs via Alpha, monitor ground.
Uniform Alpha Tango, taxi Custom via Alpha, monitor ground.
McAllen Tower, Luscombe 1813 Kilo, 10 miles to the southeast. I'm at 500 feet, just flying along the border, and we'll need to transit a small portion of your airspace here along the border.
1813 Kilo, McAllen Tower, transition is approved, and what type of aircraft are you again?
Lima 8.
Roger.
Or a couple Border Patrol vehicles down there talking to each other. So yeah, there's a road there, but here there's no fence. And I see the river right in front of me. It goes down, then whoop, just, yeah, it's all over the place. So that's Reynosa. That's what I'm going to see off the left wing there. And there's not a whole lot on the American side here. Well, McAllen is a bigger city, and it's in the distance there. Another border crossing. Reynosa, boy, looks pretty big.
Reynosa, named after the city of the same name in Spain, has a population of around 700,000, around the same size as Seattle, while Hidalgo, just across the river in Texas, has only around 14,000 residents. McAllen, just a few miles north of that, contains almost 150,000 Texans. The economy in Reynosa is largely composed of jobs at American companies due to the lower cost of labor in Mexico. The Gulf Cartel and Los Zetas also participate in some friendly competition there. McAllen has historically been primarily an agricultural economy, but has grown in recent years due more to trade across the border with Reynosa.
Holy crap. I almost flew into Mexico. That border patrol right there. And there's a couple border patrol talking. Man, I almost flew into Mexico. That was a sharper turn than what I expected. Well, actually I didn't expect it. Couple border patrol there. Oh, they got a boat launch. It'd be kind of fun buzzing up and down the Rio Grande River. And we got more new wall going in here, just south of McAllen.
X-ray Charlie Uniform Alpha Tango, McAllen ground. X-ray Charlie Uniform Alpha Tango, taxi McCrary's via Alpha, Delta, runway 18.
And McAllen Tower, good morning. November 41 Papa Juliet with you on the Beach runway 32.
November 41 Papa Juliet, McAllen Tower, runway 32, clear to land.
32, clear to land, 41 Papa Juliet.
Oh, there's a big old fat elbow of the river here. And some kind of, I don't know what that is. It's not really a dam, I don't think. Maybe it is. It looks like a real nice park right there.
Anzalduas Dam is a diversion dam as opposed to a storage dam located around 11 river miles upriver from Hidalgo, Texas and Reynosa, Mexico. It was built between 1956 and 1960. The purpose of Anzalduas Dam is to divert the U.S. share of floodwaters to its interior floodway. It also enables the diversion of waters to Mexico's main irrigation canal. Nearby is Anzalduas Park, a riverside park quite popular with birdwatchers.
Oh, we got a tall tower right there. Nothing along here. Some kids on some bikes down there. Looks like more border patrol. Maybe.
Mac 5, McAllen ground, cross runway 18, Charlie 2.
This is Madero, Texas. There are plans for construction of a border wall through Madero. A former U.S. Border Patrol agent, Ray Anzaldua, whose family has lived in the area for generations, saw drugs, guns, and money flowing in both directions across the border before he retired, and yet is opposed to a wall here, believing it will divide the local church from its members, and also stating that the wall will split many people's private property into pieces. Private property owners are refusing to give up their land for the wall. I find the juxtaposition of viewpoints on the border wall fascinating. By the way, I suspect that the aforementioned dam and park are named after Ray's family, the Anzalduas.
And it looks like a canal here for something. Yeah, there's lots of little canals and man-made snakes of water diverted from the Rio Grande, it seems like. And McAllen continues up there to the north.
Wind check.
Wind 340 at 9
More wall construction right there, just a little teeny spot.
November 1, Papa Juliet, turn right at Alpha 3, Alpha to Customs, just monitor ground, point 8.
Copy, right on Alpha 3, Alpha Customs, and we'll monitor ground, November 4-1, Papa Juliet.
Yep, more border patrol right there. Oh, there's one right there. And a couple right here in front of me. And the wall, oh, it's interesting, so it kind of drops off to the south. And they're patrolling the high side to the north. Actually, I guess this is a town called Mission. The city limits must split off Mission from McAllen, which is a little further back. Yeah, we got a gap in the wall right here in front of me because there's a little inlet of some sort. And it looks like maybe this is a tiny little town up ahead of me here called La Jolla.
Its name, meaning the jewel, was inspired by a small natural lake west of the city. Early settlers were said to observe that the lake shined in the sun like a jewel.
I have a feeling I might want to refuel at that second airport. Oil pump, oil well. Now look at this one. I think I'm going to fly this one just for fun. Got a bird way down there. And this is funny, it's like a little town squeezed in between where the river goes around and comes back. But, well, it's on the VFR chart. I'm sure Google Maps would have it. Oh, there goes a border patrol down the road. Let's follow this around just for fun. That looks like an old Spanish church or something. There's this little town, and I'm just swinging a little bit wide of it, but you can see the river already comes back here. So this is barely wide enough for a town. And it almost looks like an airstrip here, but I don't think it is, and I won't land. So this gets fat down here. The river widens out. That's the only reason I'm coming down here, because I can turn around in here. So there's the river, but I'm not going to follow it totally around there. I'm going to go ahead and just hang a U-turn right here, because that'd be maybe a little bit tighter than I want to turn back in there. Let's increase the throttle. And then it squeezes around. And let's tighten this up a little bit. I got enough room, no problemo. And now we're coming back. So that's kind of funny. Yeah, we got this little town here.
The Los Ebanos ferry, formerly known as the Los Ebanos Diaz Ordaz ferry, is a hand-operated cable ferry that travels across the Rio Grande between Los Ebanos, Texas, and Gustavo Diaz Ordaz, Mexico. It is the only remaining international ferry operation on the U.S. Mexico border.
Is that a cemetery right there, right below me?
The city of Los Ebanos was named after the Texas ebony, a small evergreen tree native to the coastal plain of southern Texas and eastern Mexico that anchors the ferry.
All right, let's proceed. So we got San Miguel, is right there off the left wingtip. And off the right, I guess that's Sullivan City, but it's just a dot on the map. Yeah, this I think is La Grulla. I don't know what that means. Oh! Almost got caught in a hairpin there. But I could have made that turn. That would have been okay. I'll switch over to 122.9. Okay, and Rio Grande City is going to be right along the river, coming up here. And Rio Grande Airport is just a couple miles north of it, slightly west. Oh, that's interesting. A little housing development there, but really nice houses. And right here, more looks like a little more cookie cutter. Not quite as nice. And this is Rio Grande City coming up here. And it's not right on the river. Oh, there's a crossing. 122.9. So, that's just outside the city. Let's go ahead and climb. Yeah, it's at 290. So let's get up to 1300. And then I'll get out and stretch. Border Patrol down there. A couple of them parked next to each other talking. Yeah, cars lined up coming over from Mexico.
Rio Grande City, with a population of around 15,000 people, was first populated in 1846 when it served as a transfer point for supplies and soldiers supporting General Zachary Taylor's invasion of Mexico in the Mexican-American War. Fort Ringgold was sold to the Rio Grande City public school system in 1944, and some of its buildings are still used by the school. Also, according to Wikipedia, it holds the record for the highest temperature in March in the United States at 108 degrees.
Oh, there's the airport. Rio Grande traffic, Luscombe 181 per kilo at 1,000, 4 miles to the south over the city next to the river. Going to overfly the field at pattern altitude. Take a look at the windsock, Rio Grande. Let's see, 293. Correction, I'll overfly the field at 1,500 or so, 1,600, just above pattern altitude, Rio Grande. So there's the runway. See, I don't want to overfly the field at pattern altitude. Let us switch to that tank. So that's off. This one's on. It's full. That's really what I want for the field. And it's left-hand pattern. Both directions. Is it 300 feet? See, I'll get up to maybe 1,600, which is about what I am right now. Rio Grande traffic, Luscombe 1813 kilos at 1,600, 2 miles to the south. I'm going to orbit the field at 1,600 and take a look at the windsock, Rio Grande. Yeah, there's 3-4, and would that be 1-6? Haven't heard anybody. Don't see anybody in ADSB. Yeah, feels like there's a wind coming from the north, so. Is there a windsock anywhere? I don't see a windsock anywhere. Oh, there's that. Maybe. Rio Grande traffic, Luscombe 1813 kilos, going to maneuver for a 45 for a left downwind for 3-4 Rio Grande. So 1,300 is pattern altitude, so I'll just fly this direction for a little bit. Get down to 1,300. Get out, stretch my legs. So yeah, it's not like there's nothing out here. There's a couple little towns around. Rio Grande traffic, Luscombe 1813 kilos on 45 for a left downwind for 3-4 Rio Grande. Alright, we'll see how it looks when I'm entering the pattern, or how it feels. Rio Grande traffic, Luscombe 1813 kilos on a left downwind for 3-4 Rio Grande. Go ahead and put some heat on there. Carburetor heat. Yeah, we definitely got a tailwind. We're going 86 knots at only 2,200 RPM. So there's heat. Might be a little bit of a right crosswind. We'll see. I'm at 1,100, so that's a little below pattern altitude, but that's okay. Let's kill the throttle. Trim up. Rio Grande traffic, less scum 1813 kilo, left base 34 Rio Grande. Down to 70. Rio Grande traffic, less scum 1813 kilo, final 34 Rio Grande. Yeah, real nice. We got a nice nice headwind. Looks like it's right down the runway. Sweet! That'd be nice to get on the stretch just for a little bit. And I've left plenty of time on the flight plan. Oh, is that the windsock? It looks horrible. Looks dead. It's moving a little bit. It's not orange though, it's like brown. So I couldn't even see it. Oh, there it is. It's kind of moving, barely. But yeah, it's not orange. It's like brown color, so kind of like the grass. No wonder I couldn't see it. Looks like someone's got a hangar. And maybe a little pilot lounge here. Looks like little fuel things there, but they don't indicate on the VFR chart that there's fuel here. Rio Grande traffic, less scum 1813 kilo is clear of 34 Rio Grande. Oh, they got tie downs and ropes. And chocks even. Alrighty. Kill the audio and everything else.
Come back next week when I continue my first day of flying along the U.S. Mexico border, flying from Rio Grande City to Zapata.